Yeah. So I guess like let's think of a company, right, that has access to disparate data sets and is being given access to more. So company X, right? And so X, what they're doing is basically, of course. Yeah. Right. Right. Well, let me think. The Sauron company, right? Let's call it the Sauron. Is that allowed? Can I say that? Right. So Sauron decides that they want to get into the world of data and like help governments, get to grips with the data and like improve the efficiency, blah blah blah. So first they get access to NHS data. So they'll get access to like wide demographic data, not like super personal. It won't say like Sean did this, right? It'll say this person of this age, from the sort of like went to this school, like, has a partner, doesn't have a partner, what have you, like this kind of metadata around the actual work being done in the NHS is being shared with this company, with Sauron, right? Then Sauron goes to the Metropolitan Police of the UK and says, hey, I'd love some data from you because like I could help you actually, police better, right? And so now they have data, let's say on, more things around, what the police is seeing, right? And so the police, for example, is also doing facial recognition on the streets now of the UK, right? So they've got a van there that's sort of like watching stuff happen. And so let's say like this company Sauron is also, it's a private entity, right? So it can do whatever it wants. And so it goes to contract with an insurance agency, a medical insurance agency. So now you've got these like three disparate data sets, none of which identify Sean necessarily, but which can potentially pinpoint Sean to say, yeah, hey, I saw Sean actually, like, or I saw a person that fits the demographic of Sean because I had a visual image of someone like that. Then, I've got public information on this person, Sean, right? That's definitely just out there. And then I've got a bunch of like very sensitive data around, which healthcare clinics are involved, what types of treatments are involved, heights, weights, all of this stuff. And so like all of this information together actually become, it's possible to and then potentially target, and so like the Sauron company is never going to do this, right? But it's going to provide data to other people who might have control over your life, like medical insurers. And so you might get denied for treatment, or like, they might say, oh, we know that you smoke, and you might be like, well, you got to prove that, but are you really going to go against a huge insurance company? And so these are the kinds of things that I think are really scary.